Feeling low might not mean that something is wrong. It might mean that something is moving, that something is shifting. And this was really important for me this morning because I was feeling some morning sadness. And it's not something that I ever totally love to feel because I am an optimist. If for people who know me, they always know that I see pretty much the bright side of everything. In fact, they'd probably be surprised that I feel morning sadness. I mean, if the ship is going down, I'm going to believe that there is a better way out, that there is a way out. But in thinking about feeling a little low this morning, I also thought about what happens and what is on the other side. And I wanted you to also ask you, when you're feeling low and you're feeling a little bit of morning sadness, do you stay there? Do you ask yourself, why am I feeling like this? One thing that made me totally see this in a different way is I was reading this book. It's called Lose Your Mind by Josh Pais. And he talks about that emotions really aren't something to run away from. There's something to give us information. And when I think about it like that, I'm like, yeah, I always want information. I'm a sleuth. I will go deep down and dig in anything. So I'm like, where is this coming from? What am I feeling? And so this is the thing I do when I'm feeling a little low with morning sadness. And one thing I looked up, and I was talking to all of our besties. What is our best friend right now? ChatGPT. And I was asking, where is this morning sadness coming from? And Chatty said, morning sadness, first of all, your cortisol levels rise in the morning. And so that's one of the reasons sometimes you might feel that way. Just one of the reasons. Then it went into all that dopamine stuff. I'm not getting into that right now. But when it talked about cortisol levels rising, and then I thought about the next step. Well, okay, that's not going to change. So here is how I sort of work through my mood to get to the other side, because I do want to feel better. And there's something else. Now, let me tell you this. I am someone who's also eternally grateful. So there's some things that people always say to do. When you open your eyes, and I do this, I feel grateful for where I am. I feel thankful. And I'm actually always excited about the day. So it kind of gets to me like, why am I feeling this way? Well, one thing I always do as soon as I get up, and I fight with this because sometimes I want to journal first thing, some things I want to write, but as soon as I get in my shower, I always take a breath. I let the water hit me, and then I just want to be in the moment. Because if I think about not necessarily everything that I have to do for the rest of the day, and I just stand there and I'm just like, and I just breathe, I almost immediately always feel better. I always feel something, this calmness and this peace that comes that says, don't jump ahead with what's going on later. Stay here now. Stay here now. And I love it. It's sort of the best moment you can be in. That's what I think. And so then after I get out of the shower, next thing I knew, no, and I always feel better. Well, next thing I always do is, which I love, is I oil my hair, but that's, and even touching my hair and my head, there's something about that just is very soothing, that makes me feel so good. The other things that I have always done and always changes my mood and helps me to move through the emotions that I'm doing is walking. Walking, walking, walking. When I feel that way, now let's be honest, I'm going to be honest with you. When I walk in the morning, I don't always feel better when I first start. I'm excited. First of all, there's like this moment when I congratulate myself and, Cassandra, you made it out. You always got to say that to yourself when you start exercising. You made it out. And when I do that, but first I know I'm going to feel, it takes me a while It takes me a while. First of all, it takes me at least 30 minutes to an hour before I feel kind of right. I know that I can always feel better, even if I take a 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But for me, I feel that my reset comes when I give it an hour. I feel like a new woman when I do that. So that is fundamental. Walking, that's an example of how movement actually shifts you, don't you think? So next thing I do, these are the other things that I always feel. Color. Color always, oh, I can't stress it enough. How much color, especially color in your food, how it's uplifting. I had a smoothie, and that's the thing sometimes when I make things and I feel that I'm going to show you before I come on, but I always end up drinking them. But I had this delicious smoothie just with a lot of berries, some greens, that purple blueberries. It always, first of all, it always just energizes my brain, makes my brain feel better. But even if I just eat something as simple as an orange, something as simple as carrot juice, I automatically feel like I'm rejuvenated. Something just is flowing through me. That automatically uplifts my spirits. Something else that when we talk about movement, so the color is really important in terms of energizing you. But if, say, for example, you don't want to go out and you don't want to walk, what about getting a mat and just laying on your mat? I do that. I have a yoga mat. And as soon as I get there, even if I don't want to do any sort of movement, putting myself on my yoga mat is going to make me move, is going to uplift me. There's so many different videos. I do a lot of yoga, I do Pilates, I do all those things. And I have to be just realistic that I don't push myself in terms of how long it's going to take. I allow myself to feel it. But this is the beauty, I think, that we don't recognize when we're talking about our morning sadness or feeling low in the moment. What is really nice, I think, about being human is that you are going to change. You can change in a second. You can change in minutes. You can even change in hours. Within seconds, we can feel different if we want to. We have that power to do that. And what I love about this is, and I just thought about it and recognized this for this moment, and why this is really important is because, first of all, to be truthful, I have been one of those rah-rah self-help, positive power, the power of positive thinking junkies. I've read all the books, and they do have a place. But let's take a moment, shall we, and just think about how beautiful it is that we can feel different emotions. We're always trying to get to one place, and we always say, just be happy, just be happy. But the thing about it is being happy is also realizing that maybe you feel happy because you had a moment where you were a little down. You had a moment where things weren't going your way. And it's okay to feel that way. Because how can we get to happy if we don't feel the other end? We call it the other end of the spectrum. It doesn't have to last forever, but it makes you sure glad to feel you come through it. So the thing about it is recognize that your morning sadness, if you experience it, it's not going to last forever, and that it actually might be serving you. When you do it, it also might allow you to say, I'm going to do some other things that are good for me, that are good for my body, that are good for my health, so I can feel other emotions. And then realize that nothing necessarily is wrong. You're not broken. It's life and it's your body doing what bodies do. And that in a way, you are getting ready to shift into a whole new way of being and thinking that day, whatever you're going to experience. So anyway, I hope that you're feeling okay today. And I hope you think about this with however you wake up tomorrow morning. And I'll talk to you later.